Confederate Jasmine. This is it's been here for quite a while actually. It's an interesting plant, mainly because you can see that it's pretty thick down there now. You just sort of get an idea for the size of that. It's a fairly sort of thick stem. It's obviously sort of twisted itself around in a peculiar way, and this is also Confederate Jasmine. It's not as thick and dense as I hoped, mainly because this is sort of quite shaded and it's trying to get up onto the roof where it does most of its work, but even there it's not particularly impressive. The sun's now sort of in the wrong place, but I put this ladder back and get a little higher, and what you can see is that it's pretty much sort of gone all over the roof there. And it also goes down to the other side. I can't really see where the camera is on this, but I can't quite decide what's what, but it's got this definite sort of, I don't know, growth on it. I'm not sure whether that's good or bad really. What I've always imagined is that this tin roof gets so hot that the Confederate Jasmine sort of gets baked up here. You can see it's not particularly dense foliage, and I did sort of think this was supposed to be sort of an evergreen. So I can't really decide whether it's just a lack of water or whether it's, you know, it's having a hard time on the roof. But it goes down sort of probably the same on the other side. I put this chicken wire in there originally to sort of help it. So this isn't all. This isn't actually the remains of Confederate Jasmine. This is sort of some other tree that chopped down, but there is Confederate Jasmine sort of in there, so it goes all the way across there, and you can see that it's sort of come down. Well, come down on the other side. That's dead. You can see it's sort of trailing down here. But I like the Confederate Jasmine because of the smell. It's not really particularly impressive, but I've got another one over here. So this one is actually not as thick, and you can just sort of see it there. So obviously it's established. I did two of these. In fact, that's not Confederate Jasmine, that's a tree. There's the Confederate Jasmine there. So obviously not as thick as that other one. You might be able to just see it just down there. So it comes up here, that is there. It comes up here. This is sort of broken. I need to fix that. It's rotten in the ground, but it's, you know, so I'm trying to sort of create this sort of trestle effect. Down here. So you've got quite a lot of it coming down here. And, it's going all the way up there. So you can see it's sort of attached itself to this, and it's going all the way up to the top of that tree. So we might be able to see it from the other side here a little better, but it's looking into the sun though. But I can't really quite make out how far into the oak tree it goes, but clearly it's going to love it up there. You know, there's going to be lots of extra light, lots of extra places for it to grow, so we'll probably see a really thick stem build up. But I mean, we've seen the other stem, so this is just a little baby stem by comparison. I did have another one here, but that one's actually gone. There is no Confederate Jasmine on this side, but there was one on either side originally. So that's the Confederate Jasmine really. You know, I do like it, but to be quite honest, I've never really had the Confederate Jasmine doing its stuff, so to speak. It's never really sort of like totally covered this. I can remember being at the coast, and there was a trellis, but it was a public park, you see, and this trellis was just, it was a trellis just like I've got, and it was absolutely covered with Confederate jasmine. But the thing is, you know, it was a trellis in the middle of some parkland, some sort of a bit of grass, and so it had lots of light, presumably lots of water, and both of my specimens are what I call, just like everything else here, compromised by probably, you know, this isn't good for light, so, you know, it's not getting great light, it's probably not getting great water, although water should come off of here, but it's, you know, probably getting a little hot on the roof there. But yeah, that's the Confederate jasmine. I think the other point I made out in the original video that I made was the garden is full of things like that you sort of wouldn't notice, I don't think, as it looks a bit manky up there. You know, you would just think, well, there's a shed and it's got some stuff growing up it, you know, a bit like this sort of common weed, and some of those are specimen plants. But you know, in most places it's suffered a little over the last couple of years because of COVID. I wasn't here for 2 years, but in most places we've got something, you know, these things are actually specific, you know, they're there for a reason. And you know, this Confederate jasmine is there. The sun is in completely wrong position to really get this now, but that's that. Hopefully this one will upload.